Hello, everybody. This is Phil Rose's podcast. This podcast was created for women by women to elevate women's voices. Happy Tuesday morning to you all. Most likely this is not airing until a Tuesday morning. I say this because I had a small delay in my recording. So I already explained, my goal is to have 3 or 4 recordings per week for all of you. But you all also know that I pivot accordingly if I need to prioritize other things. I love the podcast. I'm always going to work on the podcast, but if I know that something's off with me, I have to prioritize other things. It is what it is. And I think we all need to give ourselves that level of grace to basically get through everything that we try to get through. In particular, yesterday was Sunday. So I'm recording this on Monday. Yesterday was Sunday. And I had this whole slew of things that I wanted to do, and really wasn't anything overbearing. It was my usual kind of I want to get these things checked off, And then I couldn't. I got hit really, really horribly with fatigue in the afternoon, and I had to honor that, basically. And I say honor that because I don't like having to say what I really was thinking, which was suck it up kind of thing, right? So in light of, sorry, child interruption, guarantee when I'm recording. Because I didn't get to record yesterday, I wasn't up to it, I did journal. So what I am going to do today, on a more personal sharing note, is I'm going to read to you the excerpts from my journal from yesterday, because I do actually want you to get that realness of me slipping into perimenopause, menopause. If any of you are feeling this way, this is normal. We are all feeling this way, and it sucks for all of us. So the faster we can all recognize and accept that we all feeling kind of crappy, I think the better we'll feel. So on that note, I'll read you my excerpt. This is from July 6th. Sunday, July 6th. My body betrayed me today. I had a decent start. I let myself sleep in until 8 o'clock. Did my usual morning breakfast, just slow going. Ran to Home Depot to get the plants I wanted. I love how they all turned out. Then we took a quick trip to the bay for an hour. Again, all good and positive. My final chore was picking up groceries, doing some meal prep, podcast, and my regular work. But again, I was feeling good. Until, that is, I got home from picking up the groceries. All of a sudden, the fatigue hit me like a truck. It felt like I had been running at full speed and crashed directly into a wall, turning my body to slow-moving lava. Every movement felt like dragging double and triple my weight. I had to, in a moment, make the decision to get through the priorities only and just lay down. I hate it. Legitimately hate that I have to accept the slowdown. I have been going through over-the-counter products to help me get through these menopause and perimenopause symptoms, and they do nothing. Nothing. All caps. The fatigue is fading now, and I'm not feeling as much of the drag as I did before, but it is lightly there. Regardless of my plans, I need to be able to pivot quickly and roll with how I am feeling. I still hate it. Also, I'd like to note, my handwriting was so horrible when I jotted this, because I was exactly how I explained it. I was feeling fine. And I think a lot of you might be feeling this too. So I really want to, highlight this. Also, I'm incredibly emotional because while, yes, I'm going through perimenopause or menopause, or where the hell I am in this cycle, still getting my cycles, my monthly cycles. So my emotions are out of control, especially this week. And this week is going to be bad for everybody. But yeah, it's the wildest thing, because I will be perfectly fine and feel perfectly good. And I'll be, ripping through what I normally have to get through. And I'll just be making moves and, the usual stuff. Ladies, what do we usually do? We kill it, right? We always have a lot of things going on. We make sure we get to it all. We have our careers, and if you don't have your careers, you have your family. If you don't have a family, you have yourself to take care of. There's always something. There is always something that we're doing. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I will feel like 1,000-pound weights have been anchored to my ankles, and I have to drag myself through whatever it is I'm doing. So yesterday, when the fatigue started to hit, I think I was unpacking groceries, and I had started the meal prep cooking dinner process. I always on Sundays will cook dinner, but while I'm cooking dinner, I'll make 3 meals at once, because I want to be able to have, or I'll make something big that I can have throughout the week. So I try to do that. Now, part of the reason why I do that also, it's health-wise. It's not for a diet specifically. It's more so because if I don't make food for myself on Sunday that I can reheat or whatever, I do a lot of protein pasta salads. So if I don't do that on a Sunday, chances are like I'll just grab snacks all week. And I'm trying not to do that. I really do want to eat better for my body. So the only way I can do that is to make sure I make time on Sunday to make food that will last all week that I can just eat and still feel like I'm filling myself, but I'm being healthy. And it has to be stuff that I like. So when this fatigue hit, I had to quickly like wrap up everything I was doing. I had to really quickly just drag myself through everything. I didn't get to, nearly as much stuff as I had wanted to, but I had to just prioritize the essential functions. That is an incredible thing to have to experience because you're not expecting it. You're not expecting like, all of a sudden I'm going to feel like I'm fading away. The best way to describe it really is like trudging through lava or, the 1,000-pound weights on my arms and legs and my body. And all of a sudden just feeling like the weight of everything has crashed upon me. Yesterday was the worst of it. Today I woke up okay, but this afternoon it started to sort of hit me a little bit. I drank a lot of water. To try. I've noticed that if I do drink a lot of water, that seems to help as well. I'm very mindful of my supplements. I am anemic, so I make sure I take my iron supplements to help combat fatigue from that side as well. I'm sharing all this because I do want you all to know, like our physical bodies, we have to really take care of them and pay mind to them, especially as you get older. In your 20s, you're like invincible. Like seriously, I swear to God, if I could trade bodies with my 22-year-old self, I'd do it in a heartbeat because I had no idea what I had there. I really didn't. I had a slight idea and I was like, I'm going to enjoy this while I can. But now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, damn, I really did not appreciate the amount of vitality I had in my 20s because now I want it and I'm doing everything I can to maintain, but it's not the same. If we're going to be honest with each other, it's just not the same. We don't have the same physical bodies. Taking care of yourself as soon as you can and making sure that you're prioritizing yourself and your wellness is super important. So, a couple things for the ladies listening right now. Usual perimenopause, menopause, like what they talk about in media is hot flashes, is the most thing, is one of the biggest thing. And then they'll talk about your periods becoming irregular. Those are both true things. Those are fair. I will say this. I don't get hot flashes, but I was getting night sweats quite a bit at one point, but then it stopped. It's so friggin' random that you can't pinpoint this stuff. So I'm just going to run through the gamut of normal changes when you go through like perimenopause, menopause. So you have your menstrual cycle changes, become irregular, heavier, lighter, might skip here and there. Mine are becoming irregular. I've always been like clockwork. Now all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know when it's coming, but it's coming, and the only way I know that it's coming is because of how I'm starting to feel. If I start to see that I'm getting triggered, if I start to have that fatigue, I know that usually comes about the week before. So now that's how I gauge it. Hot flashes, night sweats, changes in hormonal levels, mood and cognitive changes. So the mood swings, irritability, anxiety, and depression are all common, as well as concentration and memory. All of these across the gate. That's why the supplements are so important. So I am not a medical professional, but I am going to just share what I've been doing that seems to be working for me. I do make sure I have vitamin D. I do make sure I take I think it's a B complex. And then I also take fish oil, which I'll let you know at my next blood screen if that's okay with my cholesterol levels. But I do take fish oil. The fish oil actually seemed to help quite a bit with my cognitive function. So those were some that I out of the gate I always take. And then I also take magnesium glycinate as well, just to help because majority of us are deficient in magnesium. I want to read this to you. Magnesium glycinate for women is improved sleep, reduced anxiety, and relief from muscle cramps and PMS symptoms. It's also known for its calming effect on the nervous system, its potential to support hormonal balance, especially during perimenopause and menopause. So I knew there was something. And again, memory. Clearly, I couldn't remember why, but I knew there was a reason. So the magnesium glycinate, I take the fish oil, I take vitamin D, I take the B complex, and then the only other one that I work in here and there is cranberry supplements because I'm prone to UTIs for some reason now as an adult, which is just freaking annoying. But I'm maintaining. I'm trying to make it through. I recognize and acknowledge when I'm starting to feel like crap, and I settle down what I need to settle down, and I just make my way to lay down, and that's kind of all I can do at this point. Supplements help. but it's not going to save me. So I am fingers crossing that because my mom can't even remember going through menopause, that perhaps my journey will not be that terrible. But the important thing is to be aware of what you're going through and to do your own research and be your own advocate. If you don't become your own advocate, if you're feeling really crappy and you haven't and nobody's there to help you, you have to figure this out. You cannot live a life in agony. And why would you? Why would you, if somebody told you you had a 50-50 shot at, something, or if you know what, you're going to have this surgery, but you're only going to feel good 30% of the time, and 70% of the time you're going to feel like shit, you wouldn't accept those odds. So why would in our lives say like, oh, well, during the month, I feel good 1 week out of the month, but 75% of the month, I feel horrible. We need to do something for ourselves. We can't live our lives like this. You're not living your best life living like that. I do encourage you to do some research, talk to medical professionals, get opinions, and then go from there and see what you can do. You can find holistic people that you can work with. I personally can't afford holistic people just because they don't usually take health insurance. So I do have to go to medical doctors, but can afford it. Go with somebody holistic, Go and talk to people not at the vitamin shop, because those are youths. No offense, youths, but they're maybe not be as well versed. But talk to medical professionals. Get some solid advice. There are so many things that you can do for yourself, both pharmaceutical and natural, that will help you. So I appreciate all of you being with me on this journey. I apologize. The schedule's a little wonky, but I'm trying my best to keep myself maintained. And I really hope that you got something out of this episode. If you didn't and you think someone else has perimenopause or is going through menopausal symptoms, please direct them here. You can also find lots of really great resources online to help support you through this. So I really do encourage you to try to become your own advocate. Thank you again for joining me on today's episode, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.